What's going on, guys? No Noiz Research with ZRX here, back for another video on some cryptocurrencies and finances. We're going to talk about that gold-silver ratio from the last video a little bit after we go over some articles and some regular TA, or daily dose, or soon-to-be daily dose of TA on the Bitcoins. All right, so let's start with this this right here, announcing the official Poloniex mobile app. That's pretty cool. That slipped by me. I just saw this earlier. Thought I'd just mention it real quick. I know I haven't used Polo in a while. I did almost exclusively use them a long time ago, especially back in the first altcoin days. But they got kind of shady and screwed over a couple people that I know. Couldn't really add up how they were doing stuff as far as, moving money around, fees, etc. But hey, they're still around, and Circle bought them. This is actually the blog right off Circle's website right here. But yeah, so maybe I need to look back into them. I'm going to download this later today and play with it, and I will let you know what I think about it on the next video. All right, I'll go ahead and make a note of that too. So moving on, Ledger. Man, Ledger, it's pretty awesome if you have one. It's I highly recommend it. It's very convenient. Now they have Ledger Live. I've barely played with it. Here's what it looks like. So you don't have to use plugins into Chrome. It looks pretty slick. I was trying to connect everything, get it all in there. I have not completed that, but I just wanted to let y'all know if you didn't know about it, Ledger Live. About time, really. But hey, it always takes longer in the software world to get stuff out. I'm sure all you devs can agree to that. All right, let's see. This was interesting. I'm sure everyone's already heard of this. I'm sure about Litecoin Foundation and tokenpay partnering with this bank called WEG Bank, WEG Bank maybe, over in Deutschland. I tried to research a little bit on it to see what this bank is, but it's not really, it's pretty hard to find any info on it. It used to be called GRAFAP, Graph App AG. It's really new, doesn't have much history or info on it, so I'm not sure how big of info or big of news that really is. And I can't really find anything on the bank. This is also interesting to me too. They have option to acquire 80% of the bank upon regulatory approval. Like 80%, just gonna buy 90% of this bank. It's interesting, but hey, it's a move forward. One thing to note, though, that I did come across is that there is a connection between Verge and tokenpay. And I'm not sure how y'all feel about Verge. I'm right in the middle. I don't hate it or love it. It was Dogecoin Dark, I believe. Prior to that, pumped incredibly hard and sold off, obviously, just as hard. But, I know there's lots of scam allegations and things going around Verge. So that's just worthy to note that there is some connection that tokenpay mentioned in April. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. We'll see what happens. Don't think it's really that big of a deal yet. All right. Cobinhood. They're taking the same approach as Robinhood in traditional markets right here. As you can see, zero fee exchange. If you never use their app, it's pretty slick. I have it. I don't trade on there, but it's pretty nice. I've traded like a little bit on there, but it's okay. Not very much volume, but I mean, what a shocker, right? Oh man, major exchange. It's not major. Doesn't have volume. Weird. So this is cool though. They're doing fiat pairs, and you're gonna be able to take. They're gonna take USD deposits starting from July 20th, guys. Hey, this market's growing fast. Just wait until it gets a little easier for everyone to start buying it. We're going to talk about something a little later that seems to be very easy, and I haven't used it yet, which I kind of feel like an idiot. Let's see. Yeah, so like I said, July 20th, Cobinhood's going down, guys. Maybe check it out. I don't know. I might have to check that out now that you're being able to do dollar there, but you know, a lot of us don't want to put like everything you buy through Coinbase, etc. Moving on. This one, I meant to mention it in the last video, but I totally forgot. The IRS came out and called and mentioned and released info about the Joint Chiefs of Global Tax Enforcement, the J5. So, yeah, never like to hear news from the IRS. It's never fun. They're committed to combating transnational tax crime through increased enforcement collaboration. Yeah, right. So you're wondering probably, hey, who is the J5? Well, it is the Australian Criminal Intelligence Commission, the Australian Taxation Office, the Canadian Revenue Agency. Man, I'm going to butcher this one. The Fiscal Inlichtingen en Opsporingdienst. We'll call it the FOID or FIOID. Let's see. H&M Revenue and Customs. Not sure who the hell that is. And the IRSCI. So not really a lot of huge players in there. Actually, let's go ahead and look up who this is because I don't know who this is right here. Let's see. Google, give us some info. So, yeah, okay, Dutch. So that makes sense. Netherlands getting in there. So that's kind of a big deal. They've been trading for a long time. If y'all don't know, they created options back in the day. Dutch did for shipping and insurance and stuff. Lots of financial products have come out of the Netherlands and the Dutch people. Smart guys over there. H&M Revenue Customs. Hell, while we're on it, let's just go ahead and look up that one too. Doesn't take that long. So that looks like the UK. So I guess it's kind of like the IRS for the United Kingdom is my guess. All right, awesome. But not so awesome. So they're convinced that offshore structures and financial instruments were used to commit tax crime and money laundering are detrimental to the economic, fiscal, and social interests of our countries. Yeah, that's real cute, IRS. Well, y'all let just everybody have these cool tax shelters if they're wealthy enough. Yeah. Yeah. In money printing and you're kidding. You just like act like they just do everything for the great of humanity. We will work together to investigate those who enable transnational tax crime and money laundering and those who benefit from it. We will also collaborate internationally to reduce the growing threat to tax administrations posed by cryptocurrencies and cybercrime, and to make the most of data and technology. So you heard it, guys. You don't hear often they say direct cryptocurrencies, lots of digital assets or digital something, but the J5 is really targeting cryptocurrencies. That's like the main thing, it looks like to me. Yeah, good luck with that, guys. I think they're going to need a lot of it. I'm curious what y'all think about that. Write a note or something below, you know? Just a quick one. Like, yeah, right, maybe. Maybe make a little poll or something. But, yeah, I'm not really sure how they're going to do that. The IRS already only collects about 50% taxes from the states anyway right now. I mean, so half the people don't pay taxes. Most of the taxes are actually derived from the wealthy people and corporations, even though that they are offshore not paying as much as they should, they still pay the majority of those taxes. So I don't know. It's a whole shit show, tax game. All right, let's talk about something that's not so depressing. This is pretty funny. I don't know if y'all saw this. Kraken came out after Coinbase. I'm sure everybody heard Coinbase's announcement. Their pump and dump. Oh, yeah. I guess you could call it an announcement for a pump and dump. I mean, what the hell? There's like Coinbase just mentions, oh, we are exploring the idea of putting those 5 on there. What was it? Cardano, some other ones. I can't even remember. XLM. It was pretty silly. It doesn't really matter. Oh, Zcash was on there. I thought that was kind of funny. So Kraken, I guess they thought they'd make a little funny, jokey joke, and tweeted this: exciting and important. I love that they use the word revelation. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Revelation for the community today. Kraken has been contemplating the exploration. Oh, they're clowning, guys. They are clowning. Of maybe adding over 1,600 new coins, pending the outcome of our highly sophisticated review process. For a glimpse of the possibilities, and then they just link the entire base site to CoinMarketCap. That is fucking hilarious, guys. Like, that is really good. The word usage, man. Way to go, Kraken. I hate Kraken. They suck ass. Gosh, if you've ever traded on Kraken, it just like makes you cringe a little bit just thinking about it. So, you know, like, ugh. Anyway. So, funny though. Good job. Liked it. Hilarious. Alrighty. Excuse me. Let's go to our next thing. This is what I was talking about earlier on the backs of Cobinhood and competition. I think this one's kind of underneath the radar a little bit. Square. Jack Dorsey project, Twitter man. CEO specifically, if you don't know. But Square is allowing trading of Bitcoin inside of the app. And I guess I just thought it was maybe being used for the merchant side of it. I guess it just kind of blew past me like, oh man, they could just be Coinbase. So there's a couple interesting things on here. Obviously, this, Coinbase downloads are on the decline after December, January. After that amazing run up. The performance of Square Cash and Coinbase emulate polar opposites, though, which this is very interesting to me. Square is experiencing newfound success in the form of growing traction. It's a weird way to say that, but anyway. So they only have Bitcoin. That's okay, though. But I guess they're feeless. It says have enjoyed feeless acquisition and sale of Bitcoin per the website of the fintech firm. And Coinbase is expensive, 4%, on fiat to crypto. And it's Coinbase. Coinbase sucks. I mean, did they give anyone airdrops? I don't remember. Maybe they did one. But man, how much money did they make off of that and not giving anyone any of it? It's kind of messed up. So it says you're not charged any fees. Look at that, right? Directly off their website of squareup.com in the help section. Like I said, guys, earlier when I was talking about Cobinhood, I'm going to download and play with this a little bit. I did use Square for a business, old food truck that I had a few years ago, and it was great. Super simple. One thing that was really cool, that the fees were always within a basis point or two of 2.75 of their advertised rate. I've had lots of merchant processors, guys, and these dudes, they try to get you. And they actually have a hard time explaining how the number that they got to and how they got to it themselves. It's pretty funny because there's just so many fees. Like maybe one day I'll pull up my a random, what do you call it, sheet from my business, and you can see how crazy in the list of fees on there. It's pretty mind-blowing, and that's something I don't think really anyone realizes. I mean, there's like over 600 different types of credit cards, and that's not like Visa or MasterCard, etc. That's like, those are like the main brands of the cards, but there's like subgenres of the cards, like certain types of rewards, government, business ones, and they're all charged like different rates. So Square being able to like fix the number for 2.75%, you know, that's pretty cool that they're able to do that. I think if you have to do them for keyed, it's like 3.5%. That's always the case with any merchant processor. They do that. I guess they deem it's more risky if you have to enter it in over the phone, or, you know, you physically don't have the card in your hand. So I kind of get it. Still dumb, but whatever. Yeah, so that's pretty cool, guys. Like I said, I'm going to play with that. I didn't know it was just pretty much like Coinbase and just that side of Square Cash. I think Square's a little slept on by some, but clearly, let's go ahead and down to this little chart. Not by a lot of people. Look at this, 25 to $70 here over the last year, guys. So, man, I remember back in 2016, I was at like a trading group, and I was talking, like, Square was it was like $8 or $9, and I was like, man, we should buy deep out of the money calls like leaps. And everyone looked at me crazy and was like, what? You nuts. That's dumb. Twitter sucks. Square is going to suck. And, you know, I let everyone kind of shake me out of it. And I'm like, man, but I've used Square before. It works really good. It's slick. You get free POS. They have pretty reasonable pricing for the actual hardware too. So, yeah, you know, live and learn. So let's go on and get one more little interesting tidbit here. So SQ is the ticker if you want to check it out and go trade it. So that does have options. They're decently liquid. Yeah, so the stock is 80% on the year and up 154 year over year. Oddly enough, the 154% lines up directly with the growth statistics of Square's Cash App. An unlikely coincidence that goes to show how well Square is doing as a company. Yeah, and they are, man. Oh, geez. Like, this stock is just performing amazingly. And really, I mean, how many times have you heard Square like on CNBC or something? So I'm really curious to see how much higher, much more legs this has. We'll pull up the chart here in a little bit and check it out. All right. One more quick bit, and then we'll get to some charts. Here you go. Justice Department to lead new task force on cybercrime. There's an executive order signed by Trump himself. It was a few days ago, I believe now. Oh, I guess we can click on here and then see exactly when it was. There you go. July 11th. This is right on the White House website. You can read this. I read it. It's very vague. It's pretty dumb. Doesn't really say anything. The only thing that it does say is they quoted the two kind of important things of cyber fraud, and they do say that they're doing digital currency as targets, but that's literally all it says. There's no, a lot of these executive orders are kind of so blanket that I don't even know, does it even mean anything? Sometimes they do. A lot of times I've read them. I used to read them like all the time, and it's just kind of like, oh, what are these doing? Every once in a while, though, you find a real crazy one. I'm not going to go into that, though. Yeah, so are they going to crack down on it and get it like we talked about a minute ago, though, with the IRS? Like, what, I mean, come on, man. Like, y'all act like the governments are good at their job. They are not. They are not. So just some interesting stuff there. Of course, here they're calling out Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin has been vocal about Bitcoin's ability to aid criminals, telling CNBC in Davos this year, early January, his main focus on cryptocurrencies is, quote, to make sure that they are not used for illicit activities. Yeah, because you're doing a great job of that with cash, right? US dollar, largest black market currency usage in that whole sector. Yeah, okay. Sure, buddy. Anyway, let's go to some chart action. So here we go. I always like to look at Binance. You know, they're the big boys. I like to keep a rolling, you know, top 10 volume or so, top 10, 20 volume on Binance. Kind of see what's kind of climbing up there. Usually before something pops really hard, it will get into like this top 20-ish area. Hey, if some of my programmer buddies out there or technically savvy guys can help me just put together maybe at 7:30 every day, at 7:30 like every day, or you know, some peg time, it just pulls the data for just this to get volume in the ticker, and that's it. And then plot it on something so we can see over time which ones are getting up, when they're falling off. Cool, that'd be awesome. Reach out to me if you'd like to help me do that. So EOS is really interesting to me right now. I like where it is. I'm sure a lot of y'all hate EOS. It seems like most people do, or EOS, or whatever the hell you want to call it. $7, man. That's pretty good. I guess while we're sitting over here real quick, we can pull up that chart. Let's go dollar first. So yeah, sold off into the high sixes. Had some decent divergences here playing out. Now we're coming up though. Yeah, on the second average resistance point, that which has been pretty formidable over the last month or so. But yeah, it looks pretty good. I like it. We're still in this downward channel though. Maybe if we can break above this middle part of the channel and get like a little tester up to, man, I don't even know. Going to the top of that channel seems kind of rough here. I guess it all depends on what the big boy does, Mr. Bitcoin. Tron's up there. It's 3 cents. Let's just check out like the top 5 of those or so. Actually, let's look at EOS on Bitcoin pair real quick. Someone mentioned that I should do that. That's a great idea. I actually used to only, back in the day, I actually used to only exclusively look at Bitcoin pairs, because then the dollar amount didn't really care. There wasn't as many players in it, so most people just wanted to accumulate more Bitcoin. They didn't care about dollars like at all. And I have found using Bitcoin pair, if you do want to just increase your Bitcoin holdings and you're not really worried as much about USD value or euros or wherever you are, I would just use the Bitcoin pair, because then it's less noisy. You don't want to get out and start looking at 20 different versions of a chart on the same underlying and confuse the shit out of yourself. It's just, you're not going to make good decisions like that. So kind of just try to pick just a few things and just stick with those. Yeah, so same thing right here. Coming up on the orange, second resistant moving average. So we'll see. It is curling up, and we do have some decent strength here showing in the indicators on the bottom, which again, orange is RSI. This one is the red and green is DMI plus and minus. It's ADX, but I take the ADX line off. Again, I will make a video. That's probably going to be my next video, is the indicators I use and how I set them up, etc. And just because it'll help probably understand here for future videos. I will keep mentioning it though, so we can all learn and make tweaks as necessary. That's what trading's all about, changing. Ethereum, we'll go over that in a minute anyway. That one's kind of a default. Zero coin. Oh, look at zero coin coming up on the top of the list. Let's go dollar first. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that looks nice. This might be a candidate here for, oh, one thing I'm not doing, sorry guys, is doing multiple time frames. So daily, just not that much time on some of these coins. Yeah, we're just crossing up on the 200 MA. This could be pretty bullish. This actually looks kind of good. I like this. It's above there. Each a little, yeah, about $1 could be like a stop area. I'm gonna keep an eye on this. I like that. Let's look at it in Bitcoin pair. It looks stronger on the Bitcoin pair. We actually are about to have all of the moving averages cross over, or did they? Oh, no, I guess in here in the next 2 hours, they're about to. 2 hours and 14 minutes, we'll know. It's likely that it will. I mean, it's pretty much as long as it stays above, 16 or so, it should close above it. So that's actually very bullish. I like that. Put that on the watch list. All right, Ethereum Classic. I've always liked Ethereum Classic, which is funny because I don't really like Bitcoin, or Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. I don't really like Ethereum Core. Do they call it that? I don't think so. But all right, so here you go. Man, look at that. A lot of these charts, guys, are consolidating and compressing. If you use Bollinger Bands to trade that way, which they're really good for timing large moves. I'm not going to say they can predict them, but they can kind of forecast it. I can do a video on that later. You can see like some of the Bollinger Bands will come in like this, and they'll start like getting really tight. And the tighter they go, the longer they go, the larger the preceding move. That's pretty much the only thing I like Bollinger Bands for. Or if you need a measurement to a 2 standard deviation real fast, throw those on there. Yeah, it looks good though on the US dollar pair, right kind of on the verge of everything crossing. Let's look at it on the Bitcoin pair. Oh, wow. So on the Bitcoin pair, it already crossed way back over here in on June 20th. So yeah, that one had a nice run. Wow, look at that, guys. See, so like a lot of charts like that, a lot of altcoins are looking real nice, while Bitcoin's just kind of chilling. If you've traded a long time, that's usually a good sign. All right, guys, let's go ahead and pull up some Bitcoin. Let's pull up the Big Daddy. And let's start on the smallest time frame, and then we'll work our way up. How about we kind of do that? All right, so coming up on the 200 hour, it's the 200 MA here. These are EMAs. Yep, so it's got some resistance, but we are showing support though here as the yellow's coming up and crossing over. So we got a nice little sandwich. I would say this is a real good range between this, 63 and 64, 65 area. Really, I mean, I guess you could go 600 to 6,600 would be like a better range. 600, I'm sorry, 6,000 to 6,600. The only thing I don't like about this hourly is you definitely had some good divergences here set up. Here's this low at that point to here, and then it sold off more, and we made a higher one here, but substantially lower, and same, I guess not then it started flipping around. So it's very minimal divergence, but it is there. One good thing on the hourly is we are just sitting right here on top of 20, the top line on DMI, my DMI setup. That means the bulls haven't totally lost their fuel yet. Here's a great example of it happening with the bears, where they like rode right here on this top of this line. Y'all can see that. It just rode right on top, and then they got fueled up. So that's a good sign. I would love to just see it consolidate here a little bit more and pop real good this week sometime. That would be great for everyone, I'm sure. Let's ratchet up to the 4 hour. 4 hour, yeah, see, the divergence doesn't even look as pretty actually on the 4 hour. And man, it's there here. If you take it back a little farther, there's the line I have drawn. I mean, it's definitely there, but we're kind of starting to test its strength with this inverted head and shoulders. All right, guys, give it a damn break. I swear, like, people will already be like right now, let's say it's just we have no pattern. It'll just be like this. And then, I'll see people draw. They're like, oh, yeah, this is definitely a head and shoulders. It's inverted. It's happening, guys. You're like, all right. It's just really silly to me. It makes me laugh. Twitter's funny. The 4 hour, it looks okay. We're battling here in between. So let me pull this up on the bigger chart. So we're battling in between here, and that's kind of like a neutral zone. It means both sides have decent strength. The bears did get pulled down pretty good on this pump, so it's likely we're just going to kind of go sideways in here for a little bit while price gets accepted, maybe up this trend line that we can kind of draw. That's pretty cleanly there. Yeah, there you go. There's a great trend line right there. So here we are. That's kind of like my line in the sand right now. And then emergency, holy crap, is 6,000, get out of stuff. And then guys, if we go to below 55, again, it's the same thing as the last video. It's crazy. Downside momentum can happen quick from there. I will actually show you all that on the last chart. I'm going to bring in a volume profile chart because volume profile is very fun and not very many people use it, which is kind of crazy. All right. So let's ratchet this up to the daily. Yeah, there's that big red line. That's like the 50, what do I have it at? Like about 5,400. Yeah, that's like the, oh shit, get out of the way. But yeah, daily doesn't look as good really at all. Like the daily, and even let's look at the 3-day. Yeah, if you look on the 3-day, the bears are definitely still in control. If you do look at the daily, they are losing, but the bulls aren't. We need a really good pop right here. That would be awesome to just have a pop to maybe about 7,000. Like low 7, mid 7s, and that would get everybody kind of back into it, but it would also set the chart up good for like moving either way quickly. So let's otherwise, if we just sell off from here fast, it's likely going to be very brutal and swift. I don't feel that. There's neutralness in the market right now in sentiment, is my opinion anyway. All right, let's ratchet it up to the weekly. No, let's not do that. I got to clean that chart up still. So just kidding. Let's go to Ethereum. And I'm throwing the volume profile like I was telling y'all. Here we go. Let's go through this kind of quick so I can get to that gold silver action. Here's Ethereum. Same kind of setup. Pretty identical, guys. If we pull back, let's actually just go this year. Let's just have volume profile pull up this year. Okay, so the point of control for Ethereum is right here. Point of control is kind of where like most of the business is done. It's usually just wherever this largest bar is, and then it'll color, volume profile will color these orange and blues is the range, is the point of control range. There's another feature I can put on there, but it makes it really noisy and you don't really need it. And then it's pretty damn clear like where these line up, right? It got ahead of itself, and look at this volume up here at the top, how it just tapers down while we keep going up. That's a terrible sign. That means no one's accepting that price up here. It means whales are dumping on your ass. All right. So now you can see we're definitely in this range, this little 380 to, let's call it 750. Like right in this little, and look how we keep bouncing right off the bottom here. If we even zoom back, let's say to the whole 2017 year, like there's obviously a lot of support right here around this 300 area. Battled that for a while. So, but on the longer term, point of control is all the way down at $40. Keep that in mind. Yeah, I know people think that's impossible. Nothing is impossible in finance. Anyway. All right, so let's check out Ethereum to the 3-day chart. Yep, about the same. Underneath the cloud pretty far. I'm not a huge cloud person, but it's all right. I like just the cloud part. I don't like all these like crosses, ching chong crosses and all this other stuff. It's just like confuse the shit out of yourself. Most stuff you can just see with moving averages and trend lines anyway. All right, so here you go. Still the same thing, guys. Watch out. Keep them stops tight. if you have a position. I'm personally kind of being neutral right now. And then I will dump lots of hypothetical money once this breaks out of a range. We are clearly in a tight range and coiling up for a large move here in the next. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen this month. So my gut tells me. So do be ready for that. Have your seatbelts on. And let's go Ethereum Bitcoin pair. And then we'll jump over to that gold. It looks worse, actually. On the Ethereum Bitcoin pair, definitely looks worse, which kind of sucks. We are crossing pretty much all the averages are down, and we're just teetering right here, guys. Look at this gap. See this gap? This is what you need to look for when you look at volume profiles, is this kind of area when it does this, and kind of bring that over visually, right? And so that means the price just like skipped over a lot, and it's easy for those to get back tested and filled. So do be aware of those. Like if it drops below that, it could easily just go to, you know, down to that next level, wherever that level is. It's just for an example. So do keep that in mind when you're looking at volume profile. All right, Litecoin, and then we're going to move on. Said that last time about Ethereum, but you got to look at Litecoin, especially since, you know, they bought a bank, man. Yeah, we have a real bank. Yeah, we're trying, guys. We really are trying. My best bet for the market right now is that we're going to have a little short-term pop to give us more energy, probably come up right here on this trend line. Almost every coin has one, a major one. We're going to probably bump up into this purple trend line, and the cloud coincides with that a lot. So we'll probably come up and in the cloud, play around, maybe even just come up and touch it. And then that's probably just going to give us more energy to roll over. It's kind of my gut feeling. But all right. So last week I talked about gold and silver a little bit and the ratio. And I decided to polish up that chart. It was just a mess. So I cleaned it up real nice so we can all see this. And this is all the way back to 1975 to present GCSI futures contract. And that's what is commonly called the gold-silver ratio. So as you can see here, the gold and silver ratio, I have a little, what do you call it? The scale. It's the orange for the ratio. And the price of silver is in this kind of silverish gray color. And that's also on the left scale. So I split the scales up so it didn't make the chart look all funky. And this line here is what I call the extreme line. It doesn't get there often, as you have seen. It's literally only been, I marked the crosses with these blue verticals. And it's literally only been, and I counted this one, it was really close. You know, I just put it on there. That's also why I circled it, because I stretched it. So I just put it on there. But all the other ones they definitely did cross. And so as you can see, every time it crosses above, this is around 80, the gold and silver ratio on a monthly basis. Because if you look at it on like other time frames, it's going to get a lot more noisy. And then this will cross up and down it, you know, like a bunch of times, maybe 3-4 times within that month. So in gold and silver and precious metals move slow. They are very slow movers. It's not something you'd like. I mean, of course, you can day trade and get in and out of anything at any time in markets, but it's traditionally something you want to hold and swing trade for like weeks, and if not, maybe even like months to quarterly. So let's look into this a little bit more. Here you can see, right, this is 1980. If you're not familiar with this insane spike that went from about $6 to almost 40, that was from the Hunt brothers trying to corner the silver market. So, and also the futures and stuff and options and a lot of derivative type things were just starting to come out. So got a little crazy, ran it really high up. I actually think that was just a closing price. I do think that intraday it went even higher, and which is even crazier for that time. And, you know, I mean, that's only like I mean, that happened literally over, 4 months. It was just like, what the hell was that? But I guess same thing happened over here in 2011. I remember this very vividly. This is when I really started paying attention to trading and started actually buying small amounts of things and getting into it. And yeah, I remember I actually bought some silver, guys, at like $40 with the premium. Yeah, talk about great entry, right? Yeah, yeah, you like that? I know, genius. My calls are the best. Like and subscribe on that note. All right, so here we go. If you look, it's only been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times that it's crossed over the 80 on a monthly basis since these contracts have been out since the mid 70s. I do believe that's very impressive, and that it clearly has some merit. And I'll show you here. I measured all the moves down here in the bottom. So let's check those out. So right here, it's, what is that? Right here, it is about 51% gain that happened over 273 days after it almost got close. But, we can just pretend like that didn't happen because it's not officially over. I like to make it to where they're official, but I do like to mark close ones. But I will notate it when I do research. So here we go. It crossed up and over, and this ended up doing it twice. I actually should have 2 lines here. But anyway, it went down about 20 to 25% over the next 1,000 days. So over the next few years, it was just going sideways down, crappy, sucked. No one cared about gold and silver in that time frame, clearly especially silver. And so that was the only time, too, by the way, as we go on through this chart, that it was down. Okay, so let's go to, oops. Sometimes it moves them here. There we go. And so we go here, and it's 95, January. Get a signal on that close. In the next, at the highest point within, the next few years, it went up about 35% over the next 1,100 days. Not too bad. Not too shabby. Plummeted like a rock. There's lots of moving in this ratio. That's a very large move in this ratio. Here we go again. Crossed up. This is a big one. About 300% over the next 1,700 days. That's incredibly impressive. One thing that, gold definitely had a very similar run in that fashion. Let's just go pull it up to give you some background. Let's not do it with volume profile, though. Let's go GC. All right, so if you look at that in that same time frame, here it is right here. So, gold went up about almost double. That's the thing, guys, man. Silver is really awesome because it's like Bitcoin Cash kind of, or Litecoin, what everybody else says, but you can pick either one. They have the percent moves are just larger, right? So that was pretty good. Like I said, over the next, all the way up into the bubble, the 08 crash. And then it sold off hard in 08, just like how everything does. Everybody needs to liquidate. It actually sold off 50%. But it had already bottomed, though, by late 09 or late 08, early 09, like before the market bottom, and it started ramping up hard. This is a nice V pattern. 40, or what do we got? 20 to 10 to 20, all in like a year. Hell of a ride. Anyway, back to the ratio. Here it is again. It triggers again when it starts ramping up super hard. And that's actually an interesting point I didn't notice until I've been going through this. This gigantic spike upward in the ratio occurred pretty much at the bottom of, like, as the market's bottoming. So that's interesting. I'm going to look into that more later. So here we go. Crosses over above the 80 again. 277% over the next 820 days. Pretty impressive. Here it is again. Not until 16 though, guys. So 5 years it didn't happen. It seems to happen, you know, I guess maybe every 5 to 10 years. And so you got it here, boom. Again, 33%. Not too shabby in 122 days. It's a big move. And so now we have it. We just had it happen again right here. What's going to happen? I don't know. That's why I have this big pink question mark. Nobody knows. Nobody knows shit. Don't forget that, markets. And so, I mean, here it is. We're right at it. But I guarantee you, I am buying silver with my hypothetical money. And I actually hope it's like this over here. Everyone's like, that's crazy, man. Don't you want it to be like this, like 300? Well, yeah, of course I do. But if it does this, that means it's definitely capitulating. And then I'd rather be getting lots of silver here and then just forget about it while it just does this and maybe another one of these, because these are going to happen. But yeah, guys, DCAing is always a great option, because it could definitely do this, especially if it starts to come back up over here and get extra extreme for like a year or two, which definitely could happen. So keep an eye on that. That's just something I like to look at every once in a while. Like I said, metals, you can look at them in a little bit longer time frame. They're slow movers, generally speaking. With that note, though, thanks for tuning in and listening. Once more, my name is ZRX with No Noiz Research, and we will be back hopefully tomorrow. Like I said, I'm holding to the last video I said I will be doing daily videos. So if one of y'all wants to collab too, I'm trying to do maybe 3 times a week later, be on there for a little bit, chat with me, hang out, bounce ideas off each other, please shoot me an email or message me. Most of the guys listening to this, you have my Telegram. So, all right, guys. Well, I'll talk to y'all soon. Good luck trading. Be diligent. Have discipline. Peace.